why I'm so passionate about the work that I do, why I think that this event is so important, and I think that there's much that we can do as sisters here gathered tonight to continue helping each other to grow, and I think very importantly to help the next generation of women of colour coming through. So you probably saw that there are various pictures of me holding banners. I'm very passionate about access to justice. I very much grew up as part of the Law Centre movement, and that's very much shaped my politics and my outlook on life. And professionally, I've always been committed to social welfare law. I didn't go into law to make loads of bucks. According to Tony Blair, one of the Labour Party conferences, legal aid lawyers are on the legal aid gravy train. Here with one of my colleagues, and we slog our guts out doing legal aid work, and I've never come across the gravy train. I don't think Julie has either. It's really hard work. We're committed to access to social justice, and we'll continue fighting this government as far as we can to ensure that disadvantaged people can access legal aid and can access legal remedies that they're entitled to access. So, I mean, in terms of the work that I cover, it's a mix of education, community care and mental capacity. In terms of the education, I help young people to navigate the very traumatic experience of school exclusions, and I help their families to kind of cope with the situation and challenge them where they wish to challenge, and importantly try to get them back into mainstream school. I think many of us will know that there are disproportionate numbers of African Caribbean pupils, and boys in particular, excluded from the education system, and I think we all know what the long-term impact of that is. So education, 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 as Tony Blair told us in '97, and that's something that I remain committed to. I also do a lot of mental capacity work, so I act for individuals who lack mental capacity to make their own decisions, take instructions through their litigation friends, or I act for family members. And the individuals who I represent are individuals who might be literally detained in care homes on the basis that they have mental impairments, decisions regarding where they should live, access to treatment to keep them safe and well, that those decisions have to be taken on their behalf. Sometimes local authorities get it right, but sometimes they don't. And loss of liberty is so fundamental that I also laud my colleague here, Julie. We spend a lot of time doing our best to ensure that individuals have a voice in the courts and that their best interests are looked at independently by the court. So in a nutshell, that's the area of work that I've committed my working life to, and I'll continue doing that because that's what's very important to me. So coming back to the awards, it's very heartening to be here tonight. I remember going on one of my first Reclaim the Night demos in Birmingham in 1984. So I've been involved in the feminist movement for a long time. Other commitments come in and take over and make demands on my time, but it's very, very refreshing to be able to tap into an organisation like Media Diversified. I've recently had the scales fall from my eyes, and I've actually discovered Twitter. And I'm following Media Diversified, and I think that your articles are just really, really amazing. They're really, it's what we need to hear. And that's how I found out about movements like that dreadful exhibition that's happening at the Barbican, but for the power of Twitter and me having this, found and Media Diversified, I wouldn't have known about all of that, and I think that's all really important. And I'm retweeting like crazy because I think it's really important for that information to be out there in the open, so that we can somehow unite and have a movement that's going to take us forward, because that's very much been missing. So in terms of this event for women of colour, when I give talks, I always think back. I'm often asked, so what's the worst bit of careers advice that you were ever given? And I always have a smile on my face because I remember going to a parents' evening with my mum when I was about 13. We went to see the careers officer, and she said, "Oh, what do you want to do?" And I said, "I want to study law." And she sat back and she said, "Law? That's really hard work. And you have to be really clever to do law." No, completely off-putting. My mum was absolutely furious, and she still boils and steams, this very day, remember that. But she didn't put me off. She didn't put me off as a young black girl who happened to be at grammar school. So I don't think there's any reason for her to think negatively of me. But it didn't put me off. I had the support and encouragement of my parents and my mother in particular, and through my teens I had the support and nurturing from a very active sister. So I think that I've managed to succeed and thrive because of support of women in the family and women in the wider community. I was involved in women's groups at university, and I have very close female friends involved in my life who I think continue to really support. And I think that this event tonight is wonderful because it's enabling us to come together and celebrate the achievements of women of colour. We still have much to face. There's the statistics out there about inevitably the impact of racism and inequality, but this event marks the fact that we are as good as anybody else. We're very committed, and the world should be at our feet. So I think that the message I'm taking away from this is to continue offering support. I currently mentor young black female undergraduates who are navigating the legal profession, and this impetus to continue doing that and trying to encourage other colleagues to do so. I think we need to be supporting our daughters. Two of mine are in the audience today, and I'm very proud of them, and I think the world is at your feet as it is for everybody else. We need to be encouraging our nieces, our neighbours. If we can mentor, we should do so. You know, we really need to promote ourselves and continue supporting so that the next generation of women of colour can make an even bigger bang and an even bigger mark. So thank you very much for organising this event. It's absolutely wonderful. And following you further on Twitter and seeing where further this goes. So thank you.